So then in this context, specifically around research ethics then, of course, as you all know, the history of the TCPS and starting in 1998 and coming through, what you may not know are some of the other Indigenous specific research ethics documents and guidance that have come out. Some of the major ones I'll talk a bit about is OCAP, which is Ownership, Control, Access, and Possession. Just for curiosity, who's heard of that before? Next time, all the hands go up. Perfect. So a couple other things that happen, as you will all know with working with the TCPS, the CIHR guidelines for Aboriginal health research also really helped kind of formulate the basis for how we're engaging in this kind of work. It didn't last long as a standalone document because within like 6 months of the CIHR guidelines coming out, we had the new TCPS. But still, many communities use the CIHR guidelines. Many people prefer the language, the way that it was written versus the TCPS. And they use kind of bits like the two-eyed seeing part of taking the best bits of the multiple worlds. Same kind of idea when communities are developing their own research governance structures. They're not reinventing wheels. We all have a habit of doing that all the time, kind of starting over from nothing, but it exists already. So people are pulling from all of these documents. And I kind of came in on the scene around the time when the draft CIHR guidelines were happening. And so I've been kind of fortunate to kind of see all of this unravel over the last several years and how it's working and not working yet in our communities. So with the TCPS, as we know, the focus is very much on the individual, right? This is what ethics is all about. It's about our how we work and protect individuals within research based on the same four foundations that all research ethics is based on. When we look then, though, in Indigenous context, and certainly OCAP is not the only one, but this is kind of a big national in scope, the change then shifts from to now also focused on collectives. So of course individuals are still important. You need individual consent. You have to think about all the different implications for individuals. But in addition to that, you also have to consider the implications for communities and collectives. And so in that then, it's much more of a principle-based approach. And I know a lot of people hate that. They just want like an answer. Like, will you just tell me what to do? It's just like if A, then B. There isn't one. It's very principle-based. It's how we work in our communities. And so they're based then on these ideas of respect and relevance and reciprocity and responsibility. And these are for both sides, for all sides. The responsibility is not only on the Indigenous community or person, or only on the REB, or only on the researcher. It's how we're all kind of figuring this out together. So OCAP then kind of came from three big movements. The first being, a history of research with Indigenous people, which I'll give you kind of a very Coles Notes version of in a second. And then also, there was an increase, of course, in our own capacities in our community and our own interest in understanding the value of research and the role that we play in it. And then at the core of most of the movements in Indigenous contexts, it's about self-determination and self-governance, sovereignty, the right to control and to govern our own people and our own lands. That's kind of fundamental to all of those pieces. And while many people think of OCAP and other Indigenous things to be a roadblock, and while I see that on paper it certainly can be, and the way that we're